What's happening, guys? Welcome to Locked On Marlins, Monday, the 6th of February. And guys, here is a number for you. 19. 19. Not the number of the jersey that will be retired perhaps this weekend. That's another storyline, but number 19. 19 days until the Marlins play their first spring training game of 2023. It feels like a really great time to sit back and take stock of how the Marlins have done this offseason. It was a slow burn, but it really accelerated. And I'm going to look back at all the key moments and start to actually put a grade on this Marlins offseason. All on today's show.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings from England and welcome to Locked On Marlins. This, of course, is your daily Marlins podcast. I am your host, Peter Pratt. Hit me up on Twitter at MiamiMarlins_UK. Hit subscribe to the pod wherever you get them. They will automatically drop onto your device. And guys, now is the time to hit subscribe for certain. We are getting extremely near to pitchers and catchers reporting. Extremely near to baseball games. Guys, it is February, and what does that mean? It means there is Marlins baseball this month. And right on the horizon as well, it is Marlins Fan Fest. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, that it's been, that it's happening. Hasn't been that much palaver, that much promotion from the Marlins about it. Just kidding, by the way. It has been extremely hyped. Love to see it. And there's a Jeff Conine announcement in inverted commas. What kind of announcement? We'll wait and see, I guess. We did get a sneak peek at the truck, the removal truck. That's probably the wrong way of phrasing it, but we did get a sneak peek of that. And there seemed to be some jerseys on there that seem to have some pinstripes. Jeff Conine, what kind of announcement could it be? Are the Marlins going for a rebrand? Are they going to change some of their jerseys? I don't know. But FanFest is happening this weekend. I'm not going to be there. Teased it out that I was joking. I'm not going to be there at FanFest, but if the Padres FanFest or if the Orioles FanFest are anything to go by, then these events look immense. And I must say, if I lived in the area, I would be down there. I'd be piling in. It sounds like a lot of fun. And all the guys are going to be there. It's going to be plenty of action, plenty of fun. Get yourselves down there. It feels, why not? Why not? But with this being said, and this is the reason for this very long intro, the reason I'm thinking along these lines is we're this close to FanFest, we're this close to spring games starting, and fundamentally, we are less than 2 months away from opening day and opening weekend against the Mets. Starting to get the sense that this could be the roster. This could be what the Marlins are working with in 2023. And it's probably a good time to take stock of what they have actually achieved, what they have done. Yes, there was a couple of faux pas along the way, a couple of missed opportunities, perhaps. But I think it's a great time to look back and see what the roster's looking like, what it's shaping up like, what else there could be to do. Still think there could be a trade partner out there or two, and maybe a bullpen piece to add. But this, I think where we have to start with the blockbuster trade. When we look back this offseason, the Marlins had to go and get some bats, and they've gone and got a bat. And what a bat in Luis Arraez. And the way to get a bat was to trade one of their major league arms. I mean, they could have theoretically gone down a different pathway and got a major league bat for one of their maybe, or multiple of their up-and-coming arms, of which there's many of them in the system. But I think this offseason will be defined on the success, or lack of, we hope for success, in this trade. This trade is the offseason. Pablo Lopez, the number 2 in the rotation, traded away. You've taken a bit from the pitching, a bit from the rotation, and you've gone and got just a guy that's a straight-up hitter. Straight-up hitter, contact for days. He's going to love Lone Depot, Luis Arraez. I think, this is the offseason. But the other thing to call out here as well, the Marlins have had a seismic shift away from the big boys have got to go. Bomb brigade, whatever, however you want to phrase it. It's contact heavy now. They're looking for contact first at Lone Depot. And that's driven by a change in management. Let's not forget, Don Mattingly announced he wouldn't be back. That was the start of the offseason, right? It was the managerial, pursuit. Multiple names mentioned, and Skip Schumacher emerged kind of not out of nowhere, but it was a surprise name. No experience, no managerial experience before, but everything we've seen and heard about Skip and the staff has been really positive. Clearly, results on the field will matter most. Right now, it's easy to be positive about Skip Schumacher and his staff. Rightly so. We're all optimistic Marlins fans, right? We want the team to do well. We want them to win. And in some ways, change was good. It was time for change. It was necessary. And, Craig Mish reporting that the vibes are good. Vibes are good. The impact being felt in terms of the staff and the difference that it's making. And we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Fundamentally, everyone had a down year last year offensively. And so the baseline is low, very low. But Luis Arraez for Pablo Lopez is what will define this offseason. In some ways, it could well define Kim Ang's tenure with the Marlins. For me, this is the type of trade that can get her extended or get her fired. It's maybe a little bit extreme, but for me, if it goes sideways with Arraez and the rotation drops off, then for me, that is a worst case situation for the Marlins. I don't think it would happen. The more I've thought about Luis Arraez, the more I have loved it. At the time, it hurt. It hurt, right? Pablo Lopez, Pablito. He's a stud. Top dude. Every fan loves Pablo Lopez. What we've heard from the Twins side, every fan loves Luis Arraez. So we've swapped stud for stud. And it is what it is. I like the change. I like the fact they've got a leadoff hitter. This is where things then impact it as well, right? The other biggest story, in my opinion, of this offseason is that Jazz Chisholm Jr. is transitioning out to center field. That is a massive move. Huge move. One that, as we've listened to Kim talk about it more, and we've listened to Jazz, and we've listened to Skip Schumacher, here's the thing about this one. This wasn't planned, right? This is not like a year ago, people got their heads together and went, we're struggling at center field. It looks a bit thin. Let's all go in. Let's get Jazz going. No, that isn't what's happened here. This is a Jazz putting himself forward and saying, I think I can do it to help out this team. So that's what we have to say about it. Jazz has pushed the ticket. Kim and the rest of the front office failed, and that word is maybe hard to use, but they failed in their hunt and pursuit for a legit major league center fielder. They failed in that. And Jazz Chisholm is plan B. Jazz Chisholm is the best plan B you'll ever see out there in baseball. I'm bullish on Jazz this year. But again, this is another decision. Another huge decision for Kim Ang, Skip Schumacher. If they get this one right, and Jazz can absolutely play the position in center field, and he can stay healthy, and he can rake like we know he can, and you've added in Luis Arraez, this Marlins team is night and day from last year. Night and day. It's going to be fun. It's always fun with Jazz in there, but Arraez ahead of him, leading off, men on base. When there's men on base in front of Jazz, Jazz comes alive. They know with Jazz he's dangerous. They're going to be pitching around Jazz. They're going to be looking, who can we pitch to after him? So I think this is going to really help Jazz. I think there's a monster year coming from Jazz Chisholm Jr. Already said it yesterday on Twitter. For me, there's a top 10 MVP vote coming here for Jazz. And listen, guys, I'm going to say it right now. It wouldn't shock me top 5. And within the top 5, there's number 1. It wouldn't shock me if Jazz Chisholm wins the MVP. It wouldn't shock me at all. He could absolutely do it. And if he's healthy and plays the majority of the games and he plays above average center field defense, then boy, oh boy, he's going to put himself right in the mix. And as well, if the Marlins push forward and make the postseason, that even adds to it too. Because this is Jazz. Jazz has pushed this. He's made it happen. And if he then goes on, puts the team on his back, the offense on his back, and this Marlins team makes the postseason, then everyone's looking at Jazz and going, boy, oh boy, what a superstar. What a superstar. And MLB The Show were right to put him on the cover. But those are the two most important moves for the Marlins. Luis Arraez trade for Pablo Lopez. I like the trade. I hate giving up on Pablo, but it is what it is. We had to move someone, and Pablo was the most expensive with the least amount of control remaining. He was the right guy to go. You get an extra year of control on Arraez. And can he thrive in Lone Depot? Yes, he can. Can Jazz Chisholm thrive in center field? Yes, he can. Will he be given that opportunity? Everything points to that right now. They haven't gone out and got a center fielder now. They've got about 15 second basemen on the roster. The roster construction looks a little bit wonky, not going to lie. What's Arraez going to be like at second base every day with no shift? Maybe talk of some dodgy knees. I don't know. Defense is going to step backwards. But here's who isn't stepping backwards, guys. It's our good friends over at FanDuel. Yes, sir. Let's pump those graphics up firstly. I almost missed them on Friday. And FanDuel, as you know, this year is the only app you need at your Super Bowl party. And it's FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And we are excited, extremely excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sportsbook in America. And it is FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, even better. They've got so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. You can download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. Get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to point spreads to who will score a touchdown. Of course, the Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. And if you do win, which, I mean, listen, pile in on those Chiefs, and there's a good chance you will, you get paid your winnings instantly. So, to join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make it... Oh, man. I was doing so well. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So close, so close. Okay. Jazz Chisholm Jr. into center field. Luis Arraez into second base. Contact. Jazz Chisholm sliding down the order. Dangerous. What else has happened? Well, the Marlins went out and got Mean Gene Segura. And again, fits the profile. Contact as well against lefties. Boy, oh boy, the Marlins were disastrous against lefties last year. Disastrous. They had to do something. And they've gone and got Gene Segura. 2-year deal with Gene. Like the signing. I was thinking that Gene Segura likely to play at second base, perhaps. Maybe Jazz was going to slide over to shortstop at that point. Clearly, the Marlins maybe go in a different direction. Who knows on the defensive side? Gene hasn't played a ton of third base. Jazz has played 0 center field. Arraez hasn't played much second base recently either. He's played some, but predominantly he was in first base and the DH spot for the Twins. So the Marlins are taking some gambles here with the defense, the infield defense, no doubt. But at the same time, is Segura maybe just going to slide into shortstop? Is Wendell maybe going to slide over to third base? The Marlins have got so much flexibility here. The thing is with Gene, he's just a safe floor of a hitter that's got a bit of power, can do a bit of everything, but just a contact guy, another contact guy to go with Arraez, to go with, in reality, Cooper Loop, who's become a contact guy, to go with Wendell. The Marlins have gone in a different direction. I really like what they've done, getting Mean Gene Segura in there for certain. So that's 3 moves, 3 positive ones. The other one, big news as well. There was a blockbuster free agent, would you believe? The Marlins went and signed Johnny Cueto, and that was clearly signaling that a trade was in the works for one of their major league arms. That trade, of course, was Pablo Lopez in the end, but Johnny Cueto, in many ways, this was a perfect signing for the Fish. Cueto, just a veteran, knows what he's doing, can slot into the rotation anywhere, really. Could be, maybe 3 in the rotation. Maybe they'll go kind of Sandy, Luzardo, Cueto, Maybe you then go Trevor Rogers, then Edward Cabrera. Maybe that's it. Righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. That kind of mix. Feels good. Cueto for me it's a great fit for the Marlins. It gives them the depth. They needed the depth, starting depth. They couldn't trade Pablo without getting another veteran in there. They couldn't. And let's be honest, at the time, Cueto, the best veteran out there. Again, I love this deal for the Marlins. Love the Wendell signing. The Mean Gene signing. Love the Cueto signing. I think it just complements everything that's going on. For me, this is another big fat W for the Fish. It really was. Really, really was. When I look at this offense, the way it's constructed right now, and let's just go back to the last offseason. Because if we think of last offseason, we were looking at Jacob Stallings, for example. The news came in. They've gone and traded for Jacob Stallings. He was coming off a Gold Glove campaign. He was, a top 10 catcher in the league. The Marlins seemingly had made a really nice move there, getting Jacob Stallings. They went and got 2021 All-Star, Joey Wendell. What a move. What a move. They then go and get the World Series MVP, Jorge Soler. He is what he is. And, you need a home run bobber. And listen, when Soler catches them, they look different. They're the different types of bombs. They're like Stanton territory bombs. Soler, if he's healthy, this is the problem. He was delivering what we expected of him. And then Avisail Garcia. Just a veteran guy, proven guy, plug him into right field. 25 home runs plus. Not a 30 home run guy, but 25 plus. Just let Avi play. All of those signings, they were all positive signings. Yes, okay, we looked at Avi and said, might be a little bit too much money in too many years, but that's what we've seen in the free agent market. It seems anyway, is you've got to slightly overpay to convince some of these guys to come to Miami in a ballpark that suppresses your offensive numbers and where there's limited amounts of fans. And actually, if we're totally honest, take away the 2020 season, they haven't made the postseason in a long time. So you have to overpay. So when we look at this now, all of those guys, they're still on the roster. Those four guys, those four big moves from last offseason, all still on the roster. You've then added to that Gene Segura. You've added Luis Arraez. You've transitioned Jazz into center field. All of a sudden, this is looking a very, very different lineup than it was 2 years back. Significantly better by the talent levels. It should be better. Last year's offense, okay, it was a bit kind of up and down and, whatever. But overall, I must say at times, they went on some runs. Like they had some streaks going where they won some games early in the year. And then, the injuries kind of all kicked in bunches and that, definitely sidetracked them. And they couldn't get out of it. They just struggled then. And everyone just went into a big bit of a spiral there. Maybe mentally, I don't know. But if we take a step back and think over the last two off seasons, how is this Marlins roster looking? It's looking miles better. Miles better. It really is. If the offense clicks, which I think it can do, then this Marlins offense is going to be interesting. Very interesting. Contact at the top of the order. Power in the middle of the order. In Jazz, Soler, Avi Garcia. These guys, they can make some noise. So, very intrigued. The bullpen. Let's talk about the bullpen in a second. Before we do that, let you know about our good friends over at Built Bar, of course, guys. We're into February, and hopefully those New Year's resolutions have stuck. And if you're looking for a delicious treat but don't want all of the fat and calories, then you gotta try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat healthier this year. I'm still continuing. It is the 6th of Feb, and I've had 0 alcohol. I'm still eating very healthily. Definitely. You don't want to compromise on taste? Then I've got the thing for you, and it is Built Bar, baby. Healthy is actually tasty. So delicious, you won't think they're good for you. Perfect for any New Year's resolutions. And what makes Built Bars so good? For starters, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Yep, 100% real chocolate. And in tons of flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almonds. I don't know how they do it, but these bars, they taste like candy bars whilst maintaining incredible, amazing macros. And what's even better is they are healthy, only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar and a whopping 17 grams of protein. We've been telling you about Built.com and using a promo code for years. For now, you can also get them from your local Walmart or Sam's Club. And that's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. Boy, there's a lot of B's in there. You can pick up a full bar box, cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. How about those puffs? And if you're close to a Sam's Club, then get yourself that 13-bar box with all the hit flavors, brownie batter and churro. Thank me later, guys. Enjoy those builds. Okay, the pen. What is happening with the pen? I would say this is the area that has had, in some ways, the least amount of activity. And this is where I think there is still something that could and should happen. The Marlins still need help in the pen. As we're sitting here in Feb, there's an arm that still needs to be added, I think. Another arm or two. I'm bullish on Dylan Floro. And with Floro, what we've seen is quality, high leverage innings. Unsexy, but quality, which is fine. What have we seen with Tanner Scott? We've seen a hugely high upside arm and a leverage arm. If he can minimize the walks, then there is something special there in Tanner Scott, in my opinion. You now have Matt Barnes added to the mix. What can Matt Barnes do? We're going to see. We're going to find out. The Red Sox decided he was washed. I want him out of here. That second half, didn't believe it. Thought he stank it out in 2022. Is he washed? We're going to find out. Going back to the infield and the moves, the Marlins thought that Miguel Rojas was washed. That's Eli's words, by the way. Eli Sussman was calling that out either on his own podcast or on a Spaces. That the Marlins thought that Miggy Rowe could be washed offensively. Miggy Rowe this weekend, signed an extension with the Dodgers. That's going to be a really intriguing storyline there for certain. They've added another year on with a team option. But going back to the pen, they still need some more help. It's clear there's still a deficiency there in the pen. There's a lot of young guys. There's a lot of inexperience in the pen, which is fine. But with experience comes growing pains. And with growing pains comes mistakes, blown games, blown saves, you name it. The Marlins and their rotation, they're built to keep games close. The offense right now, I think, is built to score more runs than last year, which, I mean, it has to be. It has to be, but they're built differently. They're built differently. The rotation will do what it will do. The offense, I think, will deliver. The bullpen needs to be better in those high leverage spots. We go back all the way to the start of the year. It was the bullpen that was letting the team down. Then the offense decided to stop hitting as soon as Jazz was injured, and so was Soler. So where does this take us, guys, after 23 minutes of dialogue and 2 ads? Where does that take us in terms of a grade? For me, I think the Marlins have had a very nice offseason. I do. For the amount of dollars that they've committed and the free agents that they signed, I think they both signed undervalued deals. I think the Marlins saw great value out of Mean Gene and Johnny Cueto. I think Kim nailed it with both of them, which is great to see. Luis Arraez for Pablo Lopez. It's a big deal. But I think overall, right now, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because these trades, they don't happen that often, right? Stud for stud. Hitting for pitching. How is it going to play out? It's going to depend on a few factors. Many factors. Where's Arraez going to play? Can he hit? Can he defend? How are his knees? Can Pablo Lopez deliver a same kind of workload that he did last year? Can they extend him? Loads of factors that go into this trade. Right now, it's bang even. Actually, it's not bang even. The Marlins had to kick in a few extra guys. And so actually, in my opinion, right now, before any more baseball is played, the Twins slightly won that trade, in my opinion. But it will just boil down to those factors. And, what kind of player does Salas become, et cetera, et cetera. But that is the move. And how does Jazz Chisholm do in center field? Is that high risk, high reward going to pay off? Or is it going to backfire? All of these things, if you look at it and you go, the Marlins now have a top 5 center fielder in the NL. And let's be honest, they didn't have one before. They haven't had to give up any draft capital, any money, any extra money to make it happen. Feels like a win. The Marlins have upgraded a position significantly just by moving someone around. It's high risk, it's high reward, but I like it. I like the concept. Arraez, I like it. Overall, guys, you can get the sense. I like it. They've replaced Pablo with Cueto. Veteran guy, makes sense. There's other guys waiting down in the minors ready to go. What's Sixto saying? Sixto's throwing. That could be another storyline in 2023. Could Sixto Sanchez be back? When is Uri Perez going to make his debut? That's going to happen sooner rather than later, in my opinion. I'm going to wait and see. Overall, guys, there is a lot, in my opinion, to be excited about for this Marlins season. There's a lot to be excited about for FanFest because this team is better. This is the best Marlins roster there has been since I followed the team by some distance. Top to bottom, it's the best Marlins roster that I have seen in the 7 years. Just under 7 years since I started following the Marlins and baseball in general. It's by far. Yes. The offense was amazing at one point when they had the big outfield crew, but the pitching was absolutely dross. It was terrible. Terrible. Now this team, top to bottom, is the best Marlins roster. The challenge they face, the NL East, is the strongest it has ever been. Probably ever. The Mets, it's a new Mets. The Braves, they've built it right. The Phillies, coming off a World Series appearance, they look strong again. They've thrown more money at it. They just keep throwing money at it. Not quite to the Mets degree, but the Phils are like a baby Mets. So you've got two teams that financially are happy, the Braves that have built it right, and they've capitalized on what they've done, and then the Marlins trying to keep pace. It's a tough situation for them. But overall, my grade for the Fish this offseason, after 27 minutes, and factoring in the offseason before, I'm giving the Fish a B+. B+. There's still work to do in this bullpen. There is. Should they have signed a center fielder? Maybe. It's high risk sending Jazz out there. But honestly, the rewards are there where you have a elite player playing center field and an elite stick out there. So it's very, very exciting as Marlins fans. With that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. Happy Monday. Hope everyone is doing well. Reminder, FanFest is on Saturday. Jeff Conine dropping an announcement. Who knows what that will be? But we've seen some pinstripes. They could be teal pinstripes. I don't know. You get the sense there could be some jersey, some branding, some marketing, something going on. So I'm excited to see what that announcement is. I'm excited to see all the photos and action from at FanFest with all you guys getting up close and personal with the players. Should be a lot of fun. Be back tomorrow, guys, of course. Hopefully there's some more Marlins news keeping me entertained. A reminder, just 19 days until the Marlins play baseball again. First game of spring training up against the New York Mets. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.